and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Good evening. Good evening, everybody at home. Let's see if we can't get this meeting out of the way before the, what do we got, a tornado coming?
Tornado, yeah.
What?
Warning.
Tornado warning. That's, never can tell. I gotta get all my good people home before it happens. For the benefit of the board and everyone else, I'd like to introduce Charlie Frankel, who is stepping in for Justin Ryder as our town attorney.
Thank you.
Good evening. I hope we don't work you too much, Charlie.
Me too.
I don't think we will. But Justin told me to get all you can out of him, and so we're gonna try that.
Vice versa.
Also, our former camera operator Tierney is with us tonight.
I thought something looks different back there.
Yeah. So probably the picture at home will look a little bit better, more professional since she's got the experience. And I'd like to welcome Brian Alward from the Village Trustee to our meeting. Thank you for coming, Brian. Appreciate it. Any public comment? All good? You can either, are you going to go home early or are you staying with us?
Well, I'm staying.
Okay, so I'll let you, no, I'll let you and Richie get together on your project, our project.
Thank you. Thank you.
No one else for public comments, so we'll move on to the previous minutes, the minutes of June the 28th. Oh, I have a motion for approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Communications, I have a letter from the West Point Highland Falls Rotary. They are doing their Storm King Run on Sunday, August 29th. This will be the 10th annual one, and they need the permission of the approval of the town for them to do that, because they'll have to use that approval and one, I think, from Cornwall to get DOT to give them permission to close the road and do the thing. So I'll ask for a motion to approve the, oh, and by the way, our chief approves also. Right, chief?
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion to approve the supervisor signing that he confirms and approves plans for the Storm King Run to be held Sunday, August the 29th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. June, I'm just going to sign this. You fill in the rest. As we all know, Colleen Solon is leaving us, and the town garage will be taking care of Dial-A-Bus, and at the town garage, Tiffany Montalisi will be taking Colleen's place. We approved that at our last meeting, and this will be done. I think Tiffany is starting full-time next week. There's a lot of things that she has to do. I have a very lengthy, well, not a very lengthy, but a lengthy note from Frank O'Rourke, who is the Intermodal Transportation Specialist, PTSB bus investigator. So he's telling us and Colleen and Tiffany what they have to do. There's a class called, of all names, I get a kick out of this every time I see it, bait fish. She has to go to the bait fish class, which is in Albany for, I think, 3 days. But the application was enclosed with this. Colleen is retiring July the 28th. I sent out to all the departments a request for a 5-year plan so the town can plan their future needs. Plan should include whatever the departments anticipate needing in the next 5 years. It should be as detailed as possible, including approximate prices, et cetera, et cetera. This is a requirement of the New York State Controller. They have until August the 6th to get this back to me and to Kelly. Right? This was one of the things the auditor brought out, right?
Correct.
That we actually didn't have oh, and then, by the way, the town board has to approve the 5-year plan. So when we get it back from the departments, we put it together, and the town board will have to approve it, and that's what the controller was looking for. Got a letter from Ag and Markets that our dog pound is in top shape. Everything down there is absolutely satisfactory. It's either yes or no, and everything is yes. Dog shelters are inspected on a regular basis, and our young lady, dog control officer, is doing a good job keeping it clean, and the town crew helps maintain the grass and such down there. I have a resignation from the Town of Highlands Ambulance Corps. To whom it may concern, please accept this letter as my formal notification that I'm resigning my position as Town of Highlands paid EMT, volunteer EMT, volunteer driver, and first lieutenant effective of this date of this letter, which is July the 9th. Damian Rigamadin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I ask for a motion to accept the resignation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, I guess we can move right on to board liaison reports. And Richie, you and Olga can give us a report on one of your...
Supervisor, you forgot
Yes.
financial.
I forgot financial. Thank you. Thank you. I transferred into the paying account $100,191 to cover the check run dated July the 1st. Big items are Highland Falls Library, $62,803, which is the quarterly town contribution. New York Comco, $2,220 for ambulance equipment. That was 6 pagers. O&R Utilities, $2,446 for streetlights for June 21st. Rockland County Solid Waste, $15,646 for landfill charges. The state controller got $9,442 for fines collected by the court. Any questions on any of that? Okay. Richie, back to you.
Okay, so I'll go to my other stuff, and then Olga and I can talk together about the CEAC and the CCA. The Zoning Board of Appeals last month had one applicant that may need some changes to their survey map. So when I talked to Jack Janarone earlier today, he wasn't sure if they're going to have anything. If they did, it would be on the 21st, the third Wednesday of the month, and they will continue to meet remotely until further notice. So it's always on the website if they do meet. And I don't know, I think our next meeting's after that, so we'll have a chance to talk about it. But the planning board meets the third Thursday of the month. I believe they meet this Thursday. I didn't, without Justin being here, and I called the chairman, Eric Smith, I wasn't able to make contact with them. Don't know what's on their agenda, but they are meeting here I'm not sure, I think 7 o'clock, whatever the protocol is. They're not meeting remotely, they meet here. So I think the third Thursday is this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
I understand Mark Taylor was going to cover that.
Okay, okay. Usually I know the agenda and I'll just throw it out there a little bit. I do know they're meeting here. They were meeting remotely, just to let people know where the meeting will occur at. 7 o'clock here. You see the sign on the door. If you're not vaccinated, you need a mask, all that other stuff, the normal protocols. With the water district, we had a survey done, and the 2 maps are down on Bob's desk, up where the Corbin Hill existing tank is and where the proposed one is, proposed being 20 years ago. I have not had a chance to see with my own eyes what they laid out, but I do have the map. I will email it to everybody after the meeting when I'm doing my stuff tonight. And, you know, as we suspected, there's some encroachment, not the end of the world, but there's a lot more room there than what our current fence indicates. And if we're going to do anything with the water tank in the future, at least it's laid out. We can work forward from there. June has been very patient. She contacted me about producing an accurate sewer district map. Well, I've tapped into my resources, and aside from the plans for the sewer from back in the 70s and the 80s and all that, I don't think we have a map that's either digital on the county site or anything. So I asked Leslie to send me every section, block, and lot number in the sewer district. When I get time, I'll make up a map that's accurate and digital and interactive, and I'll give it back to the town. That's going to be a month before I'll be able to have time to do that, but there is no such map at the moment that I have found. Down at the sewer plant, we're waiting. I think Kelly sent the check. O&R didn't tie us in yet, did they, Kelly?
I think they did because we got a new bill.
Did they?
for a
Okay.
new account.
I was down there last week and it wasn't tied in. That's what's holding up putting the belt press into service. So now that they have power, assuming they do, I asked Jimmy when they put the belt press into operation, I'm gonna take the day off, I'm gonna go down there. I want to video everything they're talking, it's a high-tech thing. And in the event we have any departures, I would like there to be data for a new person to know what's going on down there. And the other thing down at the sewer plant was, I mentioned last meeting, that their washer dryer unit had a bad washing machine. There's not a lot of space down there. Pat Patterson, like in a day after that, replaced that unit. I think it was about $1,300, so they have a washer dryer. I haven't seen it yet. I was prepared to order it, and Pat told me you're too late. It's already there, so all
Good
good
to
on
hear,
that
right?
one. Yeah. The Community Environmental Action Committee, Advisory Committee, excuse me, met last Friday. I could not make that meeting. We couldn't do it here because I wasn't available. Olga can talk about that a little bit. And I was also unable to attend and I gotta find an email that I got here, a Zoom meeting that was held for the steering committee for the community choice aggregation and where they're at, and they're moving right along. Would you like to talk about it, Olga, or do you want me to? I'll read Mindy's notes. So we narrowed the search for a CCA administrator to only 2 options. There are only 4 administrators authorized in New York State. 2 of them cannot take us on. Sustainable Westchester only does Westchester County, and Mega is not taking on new clients at this time. The 2 remaining options are Jewel Assets Incorporated and Good Energy LP. The steering committee decided on some goals and criteria for making a choice between the 2 administrators and is now reaching out to those 2 for answers to specific questions to better inform the choice. The goals were developed based upon the town and village board meetings on CCAs, the questions asked during public comment sessions, and the concerns of the members on the steering committee. The goals are: reduces electricity costs for community members, provides 100% renewable energy as a default supply, supports locally produced renewable energy generation, supports education of the community on conservation, supports inclusive and equitable access to the CCA program to include multiple ways to opt out. Not internet only or smartphone only in parentheses. offers constituents a range of opportunities to take advantage of clean energy products and services. Questions that we have for potential administrators: pricing structure, and are you proposing to offer? What fees are included with the billing, and how is the administrator funded? What is their plan for conservation education? What does the administrator do to each customer's account? For example, collect usage info. And is there a difference in rates or coverage for small businesses versus residential customers? So we have until the end of the year to do this. I believe in the month of July and August, this will pretty much be decided upon. So I think they're well ahead of schedule. And I take no credit because I was unable to attend that meeting. And the members of that committee were very fortunate to have them doing work for us. And the only other thing I have is, and I know everybody else is going to talk about it, it was a pleasure to march in the 4th of July parade for this little community on the short notice that we had with the COVID and everything like that. As it always has been in the past, it was very nice. And it was last year it was just like a drive-around thing, right? I don't remember.
Actually, I don't remember either, so.
I don't recall. Well, I know I didn't participate in it last year, whatever
I don't
did
think
happen.
there was anything.
And I'm very glad because while I marched,
Okay, yeah.
while I marched, the supervisor was in a car behind me, and I'd like to thank him for not running me over. And that's it.
Olga, do you have anything to add to,
Not really. The only thing is that we talked about, that charging station proposal, and the vendor that we've been getting the data from is willing to come in once the board can decide on whether they want him to come in and what dates. So I've given him all your dates through August, and so it's a matter of figuring out if you want him to come in and when.
Okay.
So other than that, there isn't much action on the, we were going to do an electric vehicle car show, but there's a shortage of electric vehicles now due to chip shortages, which is, I don't know, that's not a good problem to have. But we still, there are still plenty of cars out there. There's one charging over at the municipal parking lot right now. So I think it's good to go ahead with the charging station.
thank you, thank you. Councilman King?
Yes, good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. Very brief for me tonight. Only got two things, really. One is the recreation. Did a good job this weekend with the showing of the sand lot on Saturday night over at the Roe Park. And that is a Friday and Saturday night thing. So for those who don't know, you got family movie night at Roe Park on Friday nights and Saturday nights. Upcoming is The Soul, or actually, that was the 9th, right? Today's the 11th, so that's past. So July 16th, we have Secret Lives of Pets. And then July 23rd, we got Secret Lives of Pets 2. July 30th, Mulan. August 6th, Mulan 2. August 13th, Coco. And August 20th, Sing. So apparently we're going to be doing that annually in the summertime, setting up the facility out there to be able to watch movies. And you got about 50 to 60 people this past weekend.
Oh, nice.
So I thought that was
Very
good.
nice, yes.
The police, and there's not much to say here really. You all got the email where the chief is talking about the towing policies being updated. And we're currently using 2 local towing companies, so the public should know that. And then we as a board will have to finalize, those recommendations by the chief. But good news is those companies will work together in terms of capabilities for whatever is required, because one has something that the other one does not have. And a bigger.
Yeah, he has a heavy-duty rig.
Yeah. Okay,
The other company does, yeah.
that's it. That's all I
That's
got.
it. Thank you, sir. Rich?
Not much, Bob. I met with the Highway Superintendent, Pat Patterson, this morning and talked about a few things. And I think also in line with what you sent out, a 5-year plan, he's pulling together some figures for perhaps a new vehicle, but we'll wait and see what comes up with that, and that's all I have.
Yeah, thanks, and good evening, everyone. A couple of things for the ambulance corps, and Jeff is in the audience too, so Jeff, if I missed something, please let me know. Just a reminder, this was announced a few weeks ago. I think Jeff talked about it. Ambulance Corps is going to be conducting the Fall Festival again this fall, Saturday, October 16th. If you go to their Facebook page, you'll see where, if anyone is interested in filling out an application to participate with that, just contact them. Again, the Town of Highlands Volunteer Ambulance Corps Facebook page. We've been talking a lot about some of the equipment that is coming to the ambulance corps from Stryker Power System. That's the stretcher system, I sort of call it. That's going to be installed in our newer ambulance. That's happening this week. And a thank you. The Rotary was mentioned about their run. The West Point Highland Falls Rotary is going to be donating some money to defray the cost of that installation also. So that's, thanks to them. And when we do set that up, we're going to make a little bit of an event. So I'll let you all know about that, a check presentation and stuff like that. Yeah, Jeff.
It went out today.
The,
Since it's out at MacPro, hopefully we'll be back on Thursday.
okay, good. So it's in and
The system's being put in.
equipment's being installed. So that's good. And as mentioned through the resignation of one of our part-time EMTs, Ambulance Corps is looking for a replacement for that individual. And I think we're going to go to the civil service list and see what's available.
I requested it today.
Okay. And congratulations, this was mentioned, I think, a couple weeks ago, but it's now official, to member Ryan Walker for having passed everything that he needs to do to become an EMT. So congratulations to you, Ryan, if you're listening. Again, a big call out, of course, for volunteers and drivers for the ambulance corps. There's a lot of great things that the Corps is doing, a vital service to the community, and certainly a great opportunity to get involved as another volunteer organization. So please consider that. Moving on to businesses, several of you that are listening perhaps know that Nana's Chicken, authentic Peruvian cuisine on Main Street in Highland Falls. They opened up, had a grand opening on Friday. Chamber of Commerce was working with them on that. So congratulations again to Hugo and Sergio, the owners of Nana's Chicken, authentic Peruvian cuisine, family recipe types of things. And so great new business that's coming to the community. Dunkin' Donuts, a lot of you know that Dunkin' Donuts has opened up on 9W in Fort Montgomery. They are having a grand opening on the 23rd of July. That is a week from this Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so congratulations to them, and we'll be there to welcome them to the community. There's also another grand opening of a law office that is taking place this Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. The owner happens to be also the owner of Bear Mountain Bakery. And so he's opening up a law practice. It's in one of the buildings on the corner of Mountain Avenue and Main Street. I believe where the barber shop was.
The tattoo shop.
Where the tattoo
smoke
shop was.
And then the other one.
Yes, yeah, where the tattoo shop was there. So they another business. So the good news with all this is that more evidence that we are getting this COVID stuff behind us and things are starting to pick up. And so just in the last few weeks, 3 new businesses are coming in, and more are on the docket to be following here in the near future. I mentioned this last time, but just a reminder again, especially talking about businesses and organizations, the annual West Point Newcomers Orientation is taking place a week from this Wednesday, the 21st of July, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon at Eisenhower Hall. That is something that new personnel being assigned at West Point have an opportunity to go to, and they open that up to the local community, businesses, organizations, those kinds of things, to sort of be a way to welcome those new folks and introduce them to the community. So if you are interested in participating in that, I do not believe it's too late yet to sign up. The Chamber of Commerce here locally is coordinating all that. Reach out to them, or certainly feel free to reach out to me and I can give you the contact information. Last thing I have, and this was discussed last week briefly, has to do with the, and this is for the board, has to do with the Verizon tower that we've been talking about. I've been reaching out to them. I'm interested in finding out a little bit more information about the technical details behind that. You know, there's definitely a financial aspect that's going to be good for the community, but I'm wanting to find out also what is this going to do for us from an enhancement of communications. And so Justin, you can thank him for me, please. He's put me in touch with the company that is actually building the tower, and they in turn are going to be putting me in touch with Verizon. So as I find out more about that, those enhancements, coverage issues, those kinds of things, I'll be reporting back to all of you on that. And that's all I have, Bob.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Touching back on the ambulance corps, on my way to church Sunday morning, I was talking with a lady who just joined your corps, her and her daughter. Very nice. I was thrilled, and so was she, but she went on her first call. She was very happy to be part of you. I understand that she is not just necessarily a person that's going to ride an ambulance as a matron or what have you, but she's helping you out around the ambulance corps building. So what I'm trying to say to the general public is our ambulance corps needs help. They absolutely need help. The EMTs get paid a little bit. The volunteers, the volunteer drivers, the volunteer officers, Jeff, need help. They can't do it alone, and it doesn't take a whole lot to go down and stop and see Jeff. Say, hey, what can I do? How can I help out here? Kristen Burns works for me at Richie's Little Place, the restaurant. She's there 5 days a week. You can stop in and see her, and I have no problem with that as her boss. You can stop in and see her and talk to her about what can be done at the ambulance corps. So stop by, help out, and if you got hours to spare, they can use it. Jeff, you have anything to say on that?
I'm saying thank you, because Ronnie's been a godsend. She came in and started right away. She was going to be attending, now she wants to be a driver.
Oh, okay, good,
So that helps.
good, very good, very good.
After her first course, she said, I think I want to be a driver.
And then I understand her daughter wants to start off as a driver, but she's aiming towards an EMT.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, general business. We have a police officer. Chief, maybe you want to talk about Brooks Lyman, or?
He is currently on medical leave, had a serious medical condition, and we are looking, we're in communication with him, looking to get a status from his doctor probably every 3 months, so we have an idea if he'll be able to return or not return to duty.
Okay, so we can maybe not act on this tonight. We'll wait until he gets a doctor's report. Meanwhile, I don't know if his leave of absence is up. We granted it last year. I don't know how long of a time we gave him, and nor does it say in this letter, but this is a letter from Brooks Lyman. By this letter, I'm requesting an extension of my medical leave of absence that the town of Highlands granted me last year. While I have made substantial progress physically, I have not yet received approval to return to active duty status, although I am confident that I will be able to do so. I'm just waiting for my doctors to give the green light to return. I can say sincerely that it is my short-term, long-term goal to remain on the Town of Highlands Police Department and to serve the residents of Highlands as soon as my health doctors give me permission to do so. Thank you in advance for consideration to this request. So I'll just ask for a motion to allow him to remain on the leave of absence until such time as his doctor lets us know what's going on.
In
Yes.
Frank's email, he says he's asking for 3-month increments, so that he would extend it for 3 months, and then Officer Lyman gets a status update in 3 months.
Okay, all right. Would someone like to make a motion for 3 months?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so carried, very good. Sounds like the guy is really dedicated to come back. Chief, what do you know about the Putnam Valley relocation of the radio equipment?
The radio equipment that was relocated was town radio communications devices. Did not affect police department because we're on the county 911 radio system. But originally there was supposed to be a cost to us to relocate the equipment. The county used Homeland Security funding to pay for the relocation of the equipment, so there was no cost to the town for that project.
And has this benefited our radio system?
I don't know if it really benefited per se, but the way I understood it, the location where the radios, where it had been housed, was no longer available for that purpose. So it had to be relocated at some point.
And the county took care of the cost, so that's a plus plus.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bob, can I ask a quick question? What is this equipment that's just being stored, or is this active equipment that we're
It's
using?
active radio repeaters and battery backup, a battery backup site, an antenna site. It's that type of equipment.
And where is it being relocated to?
The county moved it to a facility in Putnam County. I don't know the exact location, but they were able to get funding to use a different location as opposed to the one that they were currently using for our equipment.
Which was in Putnam County also?
Yes.
No, I'm not sure of the original location,
I'm sure it's the Putnam Tower.
but it was,
Yeah. And this is town-wide channels that have benefits.
A
Okay.
lot of the calls from outside of like on 293, Palisades Parkway bounce off. You can't get Orange County, so it goes to Putnam County. A lot of our medical calls bounce off Putnam County,
That way.
and that's kind of the confusion. So,
And what was the name of that tower? The beacon? I forget what that was.
When you drive over Storm King Mountain, if you look to your right across the river about 10 miles, it's on the backside of Cold Spring. It's a huge AT&T tower that used to have microwaves on it, you know, the big shrouds. I think it's been used for many years. I'm pretty sure that's the one you're...
Is that the one?
Line of sight, it definitely has line of sight.
yeah, line of sight, definitely.
Was it Bull Hill Tower or something like that?
No, that's another one.
Oh,
we
that's
have.
it, okay.
I'm trying to think. Darn, I forget the name of that. Anyway, Kelly, you help me out with this here if I get lost. We're getting from the American Rescue Plan, ARPA. We'll be receiving approximately $853,000, which we'll be getting half this year and half next year. What we don't spend, we have to send back. And as we spend it, we have to notify the state or the federal?
U.S. Treasury.
U.S. Treasury as to what we spend it on. Now, there are certain limits as to what we have to spend it on. I made the suggestion that, well, at first I thought maybe a garbage truck could be put in here, but it's not on that list, not at all. So we all know we need a water tower. And we also need, which I just found out, the building that the sewage comes into the sewage plant on was not part of the renovation at all down there. I had a tour of that building, and it's nasty. But not because it needs repairing, what have you, it's just the nastiest part of the sewer plant. The raw sewage comes in, there's the screening belt that goes around, pulls out rags and whatever else that might be in there. That building needs to be renovated, brought up to par. So I think with a tower and $800 and some thousand in the sewer plant, that might be a good thing to do. What do they call that building?
The headworks building?
The headways, yeah, that's it.
Has a partial flume, and it channels the flow through the belt press. It's not a belt press. It's not a comminutor, belt
Screening belt.
screen.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
screen that
yeah.
rotates around, dumps stuff in the garbage can. You'd be impressed how it's wired up. Somebody went to the local hardware store and bought a toilet bowl float, and that's how it turns on and off. It's like original. So, and it wasn't part of this $3.4 million project.
No, that's.
It could use a hit.
Yeah. So, anybody, I think I gave you all the information on what we can spend it on. So if anybody has any other ideas, these were my idea, and so the water, and I had no idea what a water tower costs, what a water tank costs. I have no idea what it would cost to renovate this building. Somehow I don't think it'd be that much, but see how we can spend this $853,000.
And down on the desk in your room down there is a set of plans that Pat put down there a couple of months ago. I'll lay it out if anyone wants to see it. It shows the Corbin Hill. I've sent emails out in the past, probably before Jim was on the board, on the proposed tank site and the logistics associated with it. The existing tank at Corbin Hill is required to pump to get the houses that are higher in elevation than that tank. It is the only part in the whole water system that requires pumping. The rest is gravity. And this tank that is proposed would be at approximately the same elevation as the tank in Highland Falls. So it would fill by gravity. I don't know the logistics associated with that. There's some piping not installed yet. I'll do my homework and I'll have answers.
But it sounds like the intent of the funds is heavily towards infrastructure types of things.
Water and
So,
sewer infrastructure is definitely
Yeah.
approved.
The funds can also be used to replace revenue that we lost in 2020.
That's
But
right.
I think you said it was 5,000 or?
I didn't
what?
calculate it, it's it's a lengthy calculation
Okay.
to see how much it is.
Or whatever
I have to-
revenues we lost in 2020, we can use this money to replace
Yeah.
that. But when we first looked at it real hard, there wasn't very much
I
money.
don't think so.
Yeah. And we can probably still do that too, if we don't use
Right.
all the
Exactly.
800 and some
Yeah.
thousand.
Exactly.
Is there any timeline on when it has to be spent?
Yes, December 31st, 2024.
so it has to be spent or obligated by then?
I think obligated.
Yeah,
by
okay,
then. I think if the project runs over, that's okay, but as long as you have the plan in place. Planning is a very important part of this, and we'd have to look at the requirements, the reporting requirements and
Okay.
everything.
And-
Infrastructure though would be fine, I'm sure.
And so if we would decide to go with like, the water tank and the work down at the sewer plant, would that be a Pat Patterson thing that he would be the lead for? Because I'm thinking the 5-year plan also. I mean, I would think these would be the kinds of things that would be in the 5-year plan someplace. And so,
Water will be Pat's forte, but the sewer plant, although he helps out in the sewer plant, that's
Yeah.
not part of what his assignment, we'll say.
okay, all right.
That water tank has been talked about for 20 years. So I think there's a lot of planning already in place, and I think that's probably where the effort should be directed at this point.
And also, we get a limited amount of water from the village. And one of the stipulations in our contract, should we put in a water tank, we can get more. I forget the numbers, was it 125,000?
I think the agreement allows for up to 150,000 gallons a day, as it's currently stated.
Yeah.
We're averaging less than 100,000 a day, but
And then if we put a tower in, I think we can go up to
I'd
another
have to read. I'm not sure
25,000.
about that. I'd have to
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, what about the sewage capacity issue that we've been talking about? Is that something that is what is being discussed right now, or is this, yeah, because Richie, you talk a lot about we're pushing up against a wall here potentially. Is this an opportunity to help us with that, or?
So, at the moment, our flows, because it's the driest part of the year, it's a low flow part of the year for the sewer plant, the flows are below 85,000 gallons a day on average. So everybody's kind of quiet about that. There's a couple of projects that have been approved that when they start to get built out,
Yeah.
that's going to put us right at the threshold of it. The current project is not going to increase the capacity of the plant per se, but this belt press that's going in, I'm told by people, is a gold mine to some people because of how much it can process and how dry it makes the sludge. A little bit premature to talk about it. I mean, I could see bringing in outside sludge and using this thing to process it from what some of the people are telling me. That's just speculation, but it's more than double what's needed for our current flow. As far as increasing our current flow, our capacity, that would be a whole nother project. You'd have to put another clarifier and all that. I don't have any idea what that would cost at the moment or the logistics. There's not a lot of room down there right now. But you have the Holiday Inn has been approved. That will be 10,000 gallons a day projected. The restaurant down there is 2,000 gallons a day. At the entrance to Corbin Hill is a project that was formerly belonged to David Tonneson, and that was approved years ago, and it's sat and has a new owner now that has blown the dust off the plans and are looking at it. And that same owner, I believe, might be looking next to the empty lot next to Bob's Restaurant down there. That will put it over the top. So we're way in advance. We're not in a danger zone yet, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big proponent of business, so am I. Not in the same way you are. I want them to have somewhere to send their sewage so they can actually build, so.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. So I mean, again, is this something that we need to look at as far as these funds are concerned?
Oh,
to help?
absolutely. That's why
Yeah.
I'm bringing it up
Yeah.
as, these are the things I thought
Yeah,
about.
okay.
Yeah.
But if we can do away with the water tower after 20 years, we can, and put all that money into another
Yeah.
clarifier down there. Because the thought was, let's send the sewage, which is 1/3 of our capacity, from the trailer park, let's send that to the village.
Right.
Village would be very happy to get it because they make money on it and would help them out.
Right.
But at the same time that we're sending 1/3 of the capacity to the village, we're taking 1/3 of the funds that we take in away from the sewer district.
Right.
So it's kind of, we need somebody with the
Yeah.
capacity to figure all these numbers out.
For any really important decisions, like, I hate to use the word, I'll whisper it, moratorium, before anything like that were to happen, it would require a higher level of thought than what I have presented to you. I've sent out a billion emails with all the information, the flows and all that stuff. It would require more thought than that.
So is this something our town engineering capability could put together something for us
Yes,
to look
Yeah, I
at?
would hope so, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what are the forensic accountant or somebody that does the numbers and can just say, okay, here's a plus here, but there's a minus here.
Yeah.
And which is best for us.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I said, with sending the sewage to the village,
Right. And maybe that's part of it. I mean, some big scheme about the whole thing. So, maybe that goes, I'm just throwing this out. Maybe that goes to the village if they're receptive to that. But then that's going to give us an opportunity to do some enhancements with some of the other new things that are coming into the area. So, I mean, it may be a balance, it may be a net, gain for both, an advantage to the village and, to the.
Well,
to
last
the
we
town.
talked about sending the trailer park sewage to the village, it was kind of $1 million project, ballpark.
Mhm.
So that would take all of that money
Yeah.
too. But hey, if it works, it's good.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to prove to me that it's to the advantage of the district.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I'm wondering if our engineering firm could.
Okay, I'll be careful how I say this. We have 2 engineering firms involved. The one doing the project down there right now. Let's let them finish and take a little rest.
Okay.
And we'll use the other firm to do what you're talking about.
And who's the other one?
Lincoln Tully.
Yes, that's who I'm
Lincoln
thinking of.
Tully.
Yes.
Matter of fact, just I forgot to read it in my report, just this week, is we still have $11,000 in sewer construction main line in the budget, which is basically for inspecting the system. We've done a third of it since I've been on this board. I called Dawn from Lincoln Tully the other day and said I would like the other third done using the shared services contract that TAM Enterprises used to have with Orange County. She's checking to see if that's still in effect, because it's about 1/3 the price to go that route. Even though we're gonna use TAM anyway, they're like the only game in town, using it under that shared services program saves a ton of money. She hasn't gotten back to me yet. And that's all part of our action plan. The DEC, or the people that monitor us, as you approach 90% capacity, they want an action plan.
Yeah.
And that is part of our action plan. We're ahead of the game. We're inspecting and we're, doing these numbers.
Okay. And we can talk about it afterwards, but I'd be
Yeah.
happy to work with you on this too.
Okay, thank you.
So
Thank you.
we can tag team them a little bit.
Nobody else wants to come down to plant and visit me, so I'm happy to have a friend.
I don't like that. I'm down that path more than you are.
Bob hangs out at the cemetery's end at the plant. I'll give him credit.
Bob, I can calculate the sewer budget excluding the trailer park. I can recalculate it.
Okay.
In other words, if you were to say, because like we're on TV here, but I think nobody should have an illusion that an owner of a property is just going to say, I'm having a really good day. I'll go ahead and spend $1 million to send it somewhere else. There's going to be money coming from us to make that happen. You have to weigh which is better, to increase the plant or to send something north if it comes to that.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Okay, next thing on the agenda. The reason I have this on the agenda, so we don't have to each meeting set a time and date for special meetings for the budget. First question I have for the board is, we have 4 special meetings and a regular meeting for the budget. Do we want to start at 6, 6:30, 7 o'clock? What do we
6.
want to do? 6?
If we can, at 6.
6?
Those are long meetings.
Okay, yeah, so on September the 20th, the 27th, October the 4th, October the 11th, and October the 18th will all be special meetings for the budget, special budget meetings. September the 27th will also be a regular meeting. I think Kelly has sent this out to the town board, right?
Yes.
So the town board should have it. Mary Jane, if you want my copy, you can have that, make it a little easier on you. And then the public hearing will be on Monday, November the 1st, and the budget will be adopted hopefully on November the 8th. So that way we don't have to keep doing this and keep publishing it.
I'm sorry, did we do those meetings in your office or up here?
Up here, yeah, we
Okay.
sat out on the table out here. Because they are open to the public. They all are. All of the special meetings, public hearing, the whole works are all open to the public. Finally, I know I've got 2 of you doing police contract, 2 of you doing highway contract, and I have one more contract that's got to be done. That's the Town of Highlands the Town Hall Employees Association. I have a 30-page contract here that's got to be put together and looked over. Christine from the court would be the person that has to be here. She's, June, do you know how long she'll be out?
No, I have no.
Okay. She had some surgery or something that is causing her to be on sick leave. So once she gets back, I want to get together with her and sit down. And I need one more person to work with me. Any volunteers?
I'll work with you.
You can work with me? Okay. We'll give them the old military run. All right. I'll send you this thing. You can go over it ahead of time, and I think we're going to need Justin to sit down with us, because there's a lot in here of things that they want to do and change. And this was written by Shelley
Love, is that her name?
So it's comprehensive. You've had experiences with her, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so then it'd be me and Ty, and we'll work with it. That's all I have. Is there any other public comment? Yes, Brian?
Jim was talking about the new law office, and I was at the bakery today, and I have a card. He just wanted me to announce. His name is Alan Bazell, 235 Main Street. He's trilingual. It's English, Spanish, and French. And with our growing Spanish population, I think that'll work out fine.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. I did skip over something, the towing ordinance and changes. The tow operators recommended at a meeting a number of changes that they would like to see. So once we get those put together, which I hope to do for the next meeting, we'll have a public hearing. We'll set a public hearing. It's going to be a town law, so we'll have to put that out, set a public hearing, and then after that public hearing, we can adopt it. But one of the things I just caught tonight, which I think is a great idea for us in our small town, is a 2-company cap. No more than 2 towing companies on the list. I think that'll solve the problem that we've looked at.
And
when we had
perhaps a
meeting.
third one for heavy duty, if that's, because one of the 2 we're looking at also does heavy duty.
Yes.
We have another heavy duty that's been around forever in New Windsor doing it, which has all the equipment you could ever imagine,
That's for
so,
sure, yeah.
you know.
Okay. Mention that to the chief then. Now, anything else, anybody?
I just have one little tidbit of information. So like, it's a pleasure to do this. There's a lot of intelligent people up here with a wealth of experience. I know there's some movement in the village of Highland Falls to make some changes. I don't see that many people coming here because I think it would be wise to think about what is the town gonna do for you before the fact, rather than saying, let's just do it and figure it out after. Mr. Parry's had a business since 1838. He's a former chief of the Highland Falls Fire Department, a former village board member, a town board member. How many years, Richie? 16 years?
16 years. Right.
Supervisor, how many years for you? 16 years? And a wealth of information and hard work from Jim and Ty. I was on planning board chairman, zoning board chairman. I've been a fire commissioner. If anybody doesn't know it, we have nothing to do with the Fort Montgomery Fire Department whatsoever. I think people might want to come and ask some questions of us sometime, and I hope that they do.
I agree with you 100%. And by the way, the petition was declared valid by the village clerk. So I don't know what the next step is. Do you know what the next step would be in abolishing the village?
I don't.
We have to set a date. We have 30 days, set a date.
To set a date for a vote?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So in other words, within the next 30, or, well, the next 2 months, right? There'll be a vote on dissolution.
Well, we're gonna see what happens at the next meeting. It's not a promise, we'll see what Joe
Yeah.
and the other board members, but we know we have to do that.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, I think my understanding is there's a pretty specific
Yes.
timeline by state law that the village is going to be following with this.
I'm just wondering, since we're getting into the second half of the year, we got the November elections.
Right.
I don't know if they would be doing it at that time or not. But whatever, Whatever you guys decide, Brian. I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you very much, Charlie.
My pleasure.